Good morning, everybody. Stadex here. Never mind the noise behind me. I'm just cooking some eggs. A guy's gotta eat. Um, maybe I should. Uh, I'll leave the light on. It's probably not the biggest bother. Um, so I had published about this before. Right? Let me show it to you. Most important image in the world right now. This, right? This is an image from Sol 1796 from the Mars Perseverance rover. Let me show it again. I got some stuff here. Okay. Now I'm gonna bring it. Let me put it like this. You can put your devices sideways, right? You see that? You see all those markings? Those markings are statues and statue fragments, remnants of statues. This is a giant debris field. I'm not sure if giant is the correct word, but I counted more than 25 statues and statue fragments, so that doesn't. When you count, I stopped counting at 25 because I was like, what is the point? It must be dozens and dozens and dozens of statues and statue fragments, maybe hundreds, maybe thousands of pieces. Because again, this is a debris field. This is a field of destruction. And the stuff that we can see above ground is dozens or hundreds maybe of pieces. But the stuff below ground is probably more. And I just want to share some points with you. I've actually published this before. I had taken it down from YouTube, right? But I decided, you know what, let me put it back up. So I'm making a fresh video because I have new findings, new knowledge. So just a second here. My work area is a bit cluttered. You know how it is, you got your dining room table, and if it's not in use, stuff ends up on it. That's how it is in a family house, right? Okay, just a second, let me just make a little space here. Excuse. Ay. Okay, so I can't see the screen when I'm showing you the paper. So I might hold it a bit sideways so I even know if you're even seeing anything, because I had filmed a video before and you couldn't see what I was trying to show you, so sorry. And this is a home printer print of the image directly from the NASA website. I made my markings, of course, but this is an image taken from the NASA website, printed on a home printer. Of course, a home printer is not necessarily the best quality. I have a good printer. It was not cheap, but still, some of the details could be better visible with a better printer. And digitally, of course, on a screen, you have a much better quality. And I will provide all the links, everything that you can find this stuff yourself, print it yourself, make your own markings. It's fine, you can be skeptical. You can say, what is this guy talking about? Is this even so? And that you print it out, look at it yourself, do your own investigations, and come to your own conclusions. The more people that do this, the better. If you have a scientific pedigree, that's even better. That's fantastic, because a person with a scientific background can make findings and publish these findings as fact, whereas maybe a person without that background would have a lot more difficulty breaking through, because scientific people might not respect that person in that way, like to say, well, how, who are you? How can you make any findings? But a lot of it, when we're talking about things in an image, you don't have to be an imaging expert if something is very clearly visible. You don't have to be an archaeological expert if something is very clearly visible and identifiable. My personal expertise is cable. I am a cable assembly specialist. That is where my eye for detail comes from. Okay? If I'm not focused on details, I damage what I'm manufacturing, or I damage my hands. So I have to be very exact in my work sometimes, right? Or often, all the time, right? Okay, so let me show you. Okay, I'm gonna hold it just a bit sideways so I can see if I'm actually showing it correctly. This was the start right here, this one. I call that the primary catalyst because it started everything, but I also call it the big head with a face because it is a big head with a face. You can see the eyes, I marked them in blue, the nose, the mouth, and then on top here is a figure that I use to identify that this is absolutely not pareidolia. What is pareidolia in science? You know, they talk about pareidolia very often when you see something on Mars that looks unusual. Pareidolia is, for example, you look at a cloud and you see a figure that is familiar. Like, let's say you see a car in a cloud. There is no car in the cloud. The cloud is just making that form. You know, it could be like how the light is hitting the cloud, but it's not that the cloud is actually a car, right? It's just a trick of the eye, basically. And so, yeah, you know, there are going to be tricks of the eye. But how could I prove that what is in this image, so the big head with the face or any other thing, how could I prove that it's not pareidolia? As I said before, I marked at least 25, and after 25, I kept marking, but I stopped counting, right? So the statues and stuff, statue fragments, remnants of whatever was constructed there. These are constructed things. These are not natural formations of rocks and dirt and dust and whatever is there. These are manufactured things. Somebody made them, okay? And so that's the difference between pareidolia and something that is made. Something that is made has an appearance that is different, unless it was designed to look like something natural. But that's not the case here. These were designed to look like depictions of a story. Okay, so how do I disprove pareidolia? So there's the dozens of statues which each are different and tell part of the story, right? So there's that. That in and of itself is like a proof that it's not pareidolia. But if you need an undeniable proof, you're like, listen, I want that one statue. I want that one, because you don't have to prove 25. You only have to prove that one is not pareidolia. And once you prove that that one is not pareidolia, everything else, the whole world, history, everything changes in that moment. Okay? And scientists will have to put this thing on their wall, on their big screen, just everywhere, and just start to go to work. Okay? So, I only have to prove that one out of the dozens is not pareidolia to change the world. Okay. Which one would I take? I could take the big head with the face, but the problem is they'll say, that's not a real face. That's just a rock that has some kind of erosion. No problem. No problem. Let me show you another rock. So, again, here is the big head with the face as a kind of reference point, right here. Here, this one is very interesting. Let me put on the light. I have a light above my dining room table. So again, for reference, here is the big head with the face, for reference, right? Eyes, nose, mouth, okay? And of course the head. But to disprove pareidolia, I'm using this figure here. So this figure looks like a monkey that is holding a book or tablet, a page of some kind, and showing it to this figure. And to the left of the monkey person is another person that in this image you're not going to see it so good because it's from a home printer, but digitally it looked like a man with a hat, right? And I'm going to have to look at the man with the hat again to be like even more sure. But just follow me here, okay? The monkey figure has a fire halo arch going up on the side and above this person. This monkey figure is being shown as a bringer of knowledge. I have determined with a very high degree of probability that the monkey figure is Lord Hanuman as a bringer of knowledge. And he is showing, let me see, just a second. Right? Here is the Lord Hanuman as bringer of knowledge. He is holding this book or tablet or page of some kind. Here is a little hand. And here is a woman. And what I found out in my research is that this woman is most likely a woman named Sita. And this person here, I'm trying to remember the name. It's something with a V. Vishbanga. What is the guy's name? Vishbaranga. It could be Vishbaranga. I'm probably saying it wrong, okay? But this guy, he was very important because he protected Sita. And so it makes sense that if he is the protector of Sita, that Sita is on one side of Lord Hanuman, and this Vishbaranga, or whatever the guy is called, he's on the other side. And we can identify him as that person because he's wearing this pointy hat, right? And you're dealing with traditional Hindu Ramayanas or like stories. They're telling a story, okay? And I'm sorry, I'm not Hindu, so I might get some of the words wrong because it's not my culture, okay? I'm a Westerner. I got European and Caribbean roots. I'm a Christian. I was not looking for Lord Hanuman on Mars, okay? That's the other thing again. People will say, oh, it's pareidolia. Well, shouldn't pareidolia be something that you're familiar with? You think I, as a Christian, I'm looking for a monkey lord on Mars? That doesn't even make any kind of sense, man. One thing quick. I'm cooking here. Mustn't overcook this stuff. Okay. In 3 minutes, you're going to hear an alarm if I don't end the video by then. And there's many other figures, okay? And it's not just Hinduism. Oh, it's not just Hinduism. There's Lord Shiva as well, by the way, here. I've identified with very high degree of probability that this person right here, at the edge of the rock, has to be Lord Shiva. And this is his bull Nandi. Here's the leg, very clearly visible, okay? And it took me a long time. I looked at that rock for a long time. And I was like, what is that? It's such a weird shape. I ran it through the AI. I ran that through Gemini AI. I made it big on the screen and I told the AI something to the effect of, I described the scene around and everything. And then I told the AI, what is that? With my description of everything around it, what is that? And the AI told me that that's a bull's leg. And that if that's a bull's leg, and it's by the guy's head, it's most likely Lord Shiva with his bull Nandi. His holy bull Nandi. Right? So, and there's a lot of other stuff like here, just to show, because I know, people will make it about religion. Please don't make it just about, the Hindus have every right to celebrate, obviously. But this is not an image to go fighting, over, like a religious war over. This is an image having to do with our ancient past. Everything there would be thousands and thousands of years old, probably thousands of years before Jesus Christ was born, and other figures that came after that. And so we should not take this and say, oh, let's now, make a religious war. The destruction you see in this image could be from a war. So now we're going to take this image and say, let's make more wars. Okay? No. This, I call it the Martian lesson. We must learn the Martian lesson. We must not become a destroyed civilization where in a million years or however many years it has been, someone shows up with a rover and takes pictures of New York City or London or Zurich, and all they see is rubble and destruction, and our civilization is just gone. There's nothing. And people are debating then, is it pareidolia or not? Which I think is a disrespectful thing. To look at remnants of a civilization and to call them pareidolia. I think that's really, really, really disrespectful. And if it was us in that position, a destroyed civilization, we would not like someone to discount the fact that we even existed, right? The alarm is going off, as I told you. Just a second. Okay, now this is off and I can pull this aside. Okay, very good. I'll leave the ventilator on because there's still some steam coming off. It's pretty hot where I'm at right now. Yeah, like yesterday was over 30 degrees. I think like even 34 is like, whoa. That was hotter than the Caribbean. It's like, what the hell? Okay. So it's not just Hindu statues. There's one here, this one, that has a kind of Mesopotamian look. And in this image, you're not seeing it. Let me see. Maybe there's one where, because I marked it elsewhere. I have to print the new one. I have a version where I marked this, but I'll show you here on the image, right? So you can see the facial stuff, right? You can see the facial stuff right here. But here, and it's not marked in this image. I marked it in another one, sorry. But here is what looks like a hairpin. And that hairpin is most likely not just a hairpin. It's probably a mark of rank in that society of that person. So you have Hindu statues. Oh, one more Hindu statue just to hammer it in. Okay? Well, two. Let's make it two. So here's the big head with the face. Right? Here is Lord Hanuman as bringer of knowledge. But here is Lord Hanuman as Colossus with very angry eyes. And half of the head is under the dirt. Okay? And here is the Shashanka rabbit. I don't know if you can see it, but this is the Shashanka rabbit, which represents the moon in some way. And here is a kind of soldier person's head. And there's a lot more, you know, like this one was one of my favorites actually. Let me see if you can see. This one. I call that the princess, the Martian princess. Now, I'm not saying it is actually a female, but the person is wearing a kind of head covering. And to me, that has a kind of female appearance. Yeah, but, and there's a lot more, okay? I mean, there's a rock shaped like a star, which is not a natural shape, okay? I mean, I'm sorry, but a rock shaped like a star, you're like, that can't be. There's no rock shaped like a star on Mars. Watch this. Here. Right here. This is a rock shaped like a star. Okay? Look at how this is shaped. To me, that is not a natural shape for a rock. I have seen many rocks in my life, okay? I've gone to the beach, I've seen rocks there, I've gone to the, you walk through the forest, you see rocks. Maybe you live in a place where there's like mountainside and there's rocks everywhere. I've never seen a star-shaped rock. Is it possible? Yes, maybe. Okay, but it's a really unusual shape. Okay, so there's statues connected to Hinduism, at least one connected to a kind of Mesopotamian thing, Mesopotamian culture, Near East culture, and there's some others that have some other connections, and there's even some statues that I question if they're statues. I question if they're not maybe some kind of deceased persons. Specifically, this one here, right? This one, I was like, is that a statue or a person that is deceased? So this person died and fell there and has been there for thousands of years, maybe, right? And this one with an open mouth, which to me, like there's a grayness, and I'm wondering, like, what is that? Who makes a statue with an open mouth that looks like it's in distress somehow? It's really weird. So I don't know. And that's the thing about this investigation, right? We should not be afraid to say, I don't know. I'm not sure. Maybe it is so. Maybe it is not so. Possibly. Because you're looking at a picture from another planet, Mars, that is so far away from us, about something that humanity completely forgot. We forgot this, and I don't know why. And this is important. This is really important for the future of humanity. And I suspect that the story behind it could be very scary for a lot of people. That, there is Xenon 129 on Mars, maybe. On Earth, we would say that is proof of a nuclear detonation. On Mars, they say, it's somehow natural, maybe it came from space somehow or whatever. But there's massive amounts of uranium and thorium on the Martian surface, which is an indication, together with the Xenon 129, that there could have been a nuclear detonation in the past. Multiple. I'm not talking about a natural event, obviously. I'm talking about some version of a bomb, a big bomb, big enough to destroy a civilization, scrape off their atmosphere, destroy them, and that is scary. And I didn't really want to put that in my video right now, honestly. I just kind of accidentally came into it because of the dead people, and the fact that it's a debris field. But I don't want to make the video about the nuclear bomb thing, right? For me, it's really about the statues, and the other stuff will come after that. The other stuff has to be properly investigated further, and that will come after. We have good indications that something like that happened, but we start with the statues and we work from that to the next level, because the statues is enough. This picture, until we go there and we have to go there and excavate this. Okay? And until that happens, there will be a huge debate in the scientific community. What are we looking at? Is it real? Is it not real? And okay, let's say it's real. What is it? We have to learn the Martian lesson. Look back the last thousand years of humanity. We have been in wars all the time. And not every country is at war at the same time, all the time. That's true. But there's always a conflict brewing somewhere. And there's always an empire. There's always a more powerful nation. There's always a dispute over something. Maybe land. Maybe an insult was done, supposedly. Maybe someone is accused of damaging something or stealing something. Or it's ego, right? Ego very often too can lead to wars. And we have to learn the Martian lesson so that we don't become a debris field that shows our extinct civilization. I will end the video now because it's 23 minutes, 24 minutes now. I don't want to just talk. I said what I had to say. I did my part. I'm trying to get it out there. Now you guys do your investigation too. Bye.